Hey guys, welcome to another video with me, the STONKDAD. So, we're back again with another recap video. We're going to be going over my trades from last week, as well as the data that we used to execute those trades. We're going to backtest all those things and see how well we did. Now, from what I recall, we did very, very well with our levels, our analysis, and everything. I don't think we had a losing trade last week. Now, we only had 4 days. We had Tuesday through Friday, the trading days, because Monday was Memorial Day. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through Tuesday through Friday. We're going to backtest all that, and we will see how well we did. So on the screen here, you see Discord. These are my alerts here, and then also I have the flow channel with my analysis. Let me scroll back a little ways because we need to line this up with what we're talking about here. The 27th, when was it? I think it was the 27th was Tuesday, right? Let me make sure. 27th, yep, was Tuesday. Okay, perfect. So to start it out, we're going to be going over my analysis, and we're going to be kind of just journaling, not journaling, we're going to be going over my journal, because this is my journal that I use to go over my trades and my thought process and everything like that. So right here, right at market open, we can see that flow's kind of messy. We had a couple GX levels to the downside here, 584, but for the most part, flow's kind of messy. I think I might have mentioned this. Yeah, I said flow's not really giving us much yet. Consumer confidence in 20 minutes, so I'm being patient with that news. So go figure with that. It looks like we had a little bit of analysis here. We had 7:22 a.m., which is about an hour after the market opened. You can see that call flow is just ramping like crazy. At this point, we're at about 25 million or so in premiums and calls. And then also we had these gamma levels here. We had 586, 587, and 588 being the top one. And right here on my screenshot, oh, you can't even see it, but that 580 level was hit right here. And here's the price action on the right side of your screen from Tuesday's price action. That 588 level is what we were targeting. It looks like we hit that pretty quickly. There's 588 right there. You can see that we went up higher, but as we go on, that was the first target that I had, the highest GX level, because at the bottom here we hit 585, maybe even almost 584, yeah, 584.30 or so, and then we got to bounce up to that 588 GX level. So it looks like I'm seeing the market pretty well here. Let me see what trades I took on Tuesday. So I said here, man, we missed a huge A+ setup, never gave us an entry on the pullback on the 5-minute chart. So here's a screenshot. We hit our 588 level right here. You can't really see it, but 588 was right here, and we're just following this trend up. But I said congrats to those that got in. I probably mentioned this on live stream, but it looks like I got in along shortly after I posted that, about 10 minutes after I posted this. Looks like I might have gotten a pullback. Looks like it took a screenshot of the thing here. So it looks like we got a pullback off of this to that 588 level. It looks like it took an entry off of that level. So if I mentioned here that if we hold 588, we should continue higher. Let me see if there were any confluence GX levels. I don't think there was, but we did have that 589 positive level. Now, that was probably not the best trade to get in. I was just kind of following trend, and given that the flow data was very, very bullish, it's probably why I entered. I didn't see any GX levels, so it was probably like a B setup or so, a B plus maybe, just given the condition that we were at with data. So just making note of that. Looks like we did held that 588 level right here. This was a very, very good entry. We got a pullback to 588, and we found some support, and we bounced up there. So obviously that trade was pretty good. I'm not sure. Maybe GX was pulling shortly after I got in that. Yeah, so as you can see here on the screenshot, it looks like we held that 588 level. If you coincide this screenshot with the price action over here, you can see that we held 588, and we went right up to 589, which I don't have that marked now, but there's 589. That was probably my first price target. We got a nice rejection off of it. You can see how it matches right there. And that was probably my take profit level, yeah, TP hit. And then we also had on the screenshot, you can see that 590 was also pulling pretty strong. We had that 589 level being resistance, but that 590 level was also showing up there. So that gave us a little bit more confidence of upside potential upwards to that 590 level, which, as you can see, it looks like we hit that shortly after we got the rejection of 589, about an hour or so later. But regardless, this trade that we took on Tuesday was really, really good, top notch. Probably would have been better if we had that GEX level pull before I got in it. But nonetheless, we followed the trend very, very well. We looked at the data. We could see that flow was very, very bullish. So we took a small risk there off that 588 level, which worked out in our favor there. Let's see. Let's move on to Tuesday, because I'm pretty sure that was the only one I did. So on Tuesday, it looks like 29 minutes after the market opened, I took a short entry there, about 30 minutes. Let's see what happened here on the flow. Actually, let me look at the screenshot real quick before I move here. So right here, you can see that flow data is showing puts over calls at about 4 million versus minus 4 million in calls. We have a strong GEX level down here at 587. So that is probably what caught my attention, being where we were at. And given how strong that GEX level was, it wasn't as strong as the previous day levels, like those higher levels that we took those longs on Tuesday. But this is Wednesday, and this is pretty new data. It looks like about 30 minutes after market open. So this data is pretty strong given that time period. So over here in the screenshot, let me move the price over to Wednesday so you guys can see. Here is the price action from Wednesday. Looks like we got a push up. Oh, let me remove this real quick. Sorry. So it looks like we got a push up, little manipulation, and then a huge move down here. And then we had that confluence with flow data, and then also this 587 level that you can see on your screen. I mentioned it here. 587 is our most negative level. And we were sitting at about, let's see, what price is this? We were sitting at about 591 when I alerted this trade and also got into shorts, which is really, really cool. So we got in around 591. Once we broke this low pre-market, we got in around here, and then we followed the trend all the way down here. We didn't actually hit 587 until the very end of the day, but regardless though, we still caught a move from 591 to probably 590, 589 potentially. Yeah, it says here I hit TP1. I probably trimmed there at 590, and then 588 was our TP2. I'm not sure if I held it all the way there. I think I trailed my stop, and then I got stopped out probably on this push up. It is very, very likely actually. So, which is really cool to see that I managed that position accordingly, even though we didn't hit our ultimate target, which was 587 or 588 or so. We still managed that position. We got in at 591, we held it, and then I just trailed my stops, and I probably got stopped out on my runners on this little push up here. But regardless, that was a WW day there with shorts. I think if we look here, you can kind of see my analysis here. I said bearish, lots of levels to look at. 587 is our most negative. 588 and 587 are our most negative levels. 588, you can see here, very, very strong. And we were in shorts as I was alerting this here. Looks like we hit 588. I did a little magnet there. That was around power hour, which is really cool. And then we hit 587 on close there. So let's move on. That was a very good day. Tuesday and Wednesday, W days. Let's look at Thursday. So Thursday, let's see. Thursday, May 29th, we got into some ES shorts at 59.16. And I said here flow is bullish, but price action is saying otherwise in a light position targeting 587, which is our gap fill. So it looks like I contradicted flow here, and this will be a good example to show you guys why sometimes I go against the flow, because price action is telling me something different. So on this day, Thursday, it looks like I caught some shorts. You can see that we're following this trend to the downside. Oh, I need to move the price action here to Thursday. So you can see here, we're in this bearish price action. We've broken pre-market lows here. We came back up, retested them at 592. So in my eyes, okay, we're going down. Potentially, we also had some GEX levels, I'm pretty sure. Let me go to the flow channel and see what we had here. Okay, yep. So 529, look at these levels here. So we had 591 pulling, 590, and then we also had 587, 585. Really small, but down there for the most part. So since we moved through this 591 level at open, see we flushed through this. I'm not looking for upside levels if it already flushed through that. I'm looking for these lower ones, 590, and then also price action is telling me down, right? So it looks like 587 was a GX level we were looking at. I'm not sure. Let me look at my alerts channel. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, it actually looks like I might have gotten stopped out at 719 on this one, and then I got back in. Oh yeah, I did. So looks like I got stopped out at the first initial one, but the second go around we actually hit those lower levels towards 587, which was really cool. So you can see here that we had 586. Oh, you guys can't see it. But this blue line here is 586, and 587 was showing up right there. And then let me go back to my flow channel. I guess I didn't share a screenshot of it, but regardless, if we're going back to my alerts channel, we hit these lower GX levels, or we hit shorts and we targeted those lower GX levels given this chart here. So it looks like we did hit 587. Yep, so that was the wick here. So we were following trend here. We finally broke the lows and we hit 588 and 587, which is what we were targeting for those gamma levels. Hopefully you guys are following me along here, but I mean, that's 3 for 3 days just going off of data. That one was a little bit iffy because we weren't following the flow, right? Flow was pretty bullish. But we were looking at gamma levels. We were following price action, which is really top notch. I don't really do that very often, but that one played out really well. It's not like my perfect A+ setup because usually I wouldn't take the trade at all, given that flow data wasn't in our favor. But I decided to take the risk there, given that those GX levels were pulling pretty strongly, and price action was bearish as well. So really good. Looks like we were in a trade there. 5 micros, 59, 13.75, and we caught a very nice short to the downside for $500 there. Really nice. And then let's move on to Friday, which is our last day. Looks like I got into shorts again. Oh, I remember this day. This was the day that I actually got stopped out at break even, and this one was the one that just flushed on news like completely right after I got out. But I was reading the market really well, which is good. Let me look and see what the flow data was saying. Let me move price action here over to Friday so you guys can see what happened. We were kind of in a chop range here until we finally broke those lows and flushed down. But let me go on over to Friday. What day is this? The 30th? Okay, so 30th here, we had a flip in bearish premiums here. We also had these GX levels, it looks like, at 587, 585, right here. So these levels that are popping up, guys, I look at like all the time. Like I make sure that these are levels pulling currently, and if they're pulling pretty strongly, we can, we have better odds of actually hitting those levels. So in this case, we have flows bearish, and we're pumping up here in this screenshot. You guys probably can't see it, but you can see right here, we had a pump up. This was the pump up right here. We kept chopping around in this range, but I was just kind of waiting to see which way we would break. This was kind of a fake out to me because we were pumping up, and then we also had this positive 590 level here. Oh, it doesn't show it. I think it might have shown it a little bit later. When was this? 725. Yeah. So basically we had a whole bunch of positive gamma levels right here. So I didn't think we were going to break anywhere near above 590 because it's that mental level. And also we had pre-market levels at 590 as well, as you can see over here on the chart. We kept rejecting it. So I had a hard time believing that we were going to break above 590 at that current time with the data that was showing. So right here you can see that I say 587's pulling, which means that price should move towards that level after we got that rejection of 587. Or sorry, 590 here, we got the rejection, and we're heading towards that 587 level. In this screenshot, we were at about 588, and then I think that's when I took those shorts, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I took them at about 8:53, which is about 2 hours after the market opened, a little bit above 2 hours. We got in on the retest of EMAs here, which is right here on the chart. This is where we got into some shorts around this area. And we held it. It looks like I got stopped out at break even. I'm pretty certain that I moved my stops to break even once we got this low and we got stopped out about around this area. And then right after is when this flush happened, which is super annoying. Like I say here, we're green 7 points, moving stops to break even. And then I said stop to break even, worth a go with the sizing. And then obviously it just completely tanked and everyone made a bunch of money and I didn't, but that's okay. We did make a few dollars. We made a few dollars on this one. But you know, sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. In that case, we made $3. But it seemed like everyone else decided to hold that one. So that was a W day in my eyes, just because we were reading the market really well and they caught this entire move down, which happened exactly a minute after I got out at break even. But that was our analysis for the week of the last week of May, actually. And we did really well. So I'm hoping that this next week, the first week of June, is the exact same. We're reading the market very well. We're reading the data very well. We're being patient in our entries. We don't take too many trades, and we execute on those trades that we think that will play out. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, W days. Friday, and it was kind of like so. I made money in the Asia session, so I was okay with taking that break-even trade. But yeah, guys, I'll count that as a win technically, just because I was green on that trade. I didn't let it go red, so it was not a losing trade. But yeah, guys, we're reading the market really well. The data is on fire, to say the least. We're just catching all these amazing moves, given the GEX levels and market data and everything like that. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I will not go away from this strategy ever, unless it stops working like for like a month straight or something. I'm definitely going to stick to this strategy. It's working well, and I'm hoping we're going to get a 5 for 5 winning day this week as well. So I will see you guys in the next video.